So are you totally confused when it comes to home loans? Do you even know who to call? What questions to ask? What are they going to want from you other than all your blood and your firstborn? Do you know which lenders are the best? That's what we're going to talk about today on DESTRY TV. Hey everybody, I'm sitting here today with my good buddy Robert Fanzo from Silver Trust Funding. Some people call it Bobby, but I go by Robert. So I wrote down a bunch of questions I wanted to ask you. I think that most of my clients and our clients have run into as questions as far as getting home loans. Tell me this, what do you think concerns buyers most right now about getting a home loan? I mean, what's their biggest fear?
I think buyers just in general don't understand the financing process. They're scared of it. They don't know what they qualify for. They don't know how much it's going to cost, how much their payment's going to be. So I think it's just general education of the process, overall. Understanding terms. Terminology is totally different. It's a whole different language.
Right.
So
you don't do it for a living. You don't know what APR means. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean anything from the down payment misconceptions, conventional. You don't need 20% down. There's lots of different options on loans. So it's just getting the basics of it, old misconceptions gone. So
Gotcha.
I think, just a general education of loan process and loan availability is the main thing buyers are kind of looking for.
So question now, because most buyers always ask this. So aside from a down payment, say it's FHA with 3.5% or 20%, like you just mentioned, what do their closing costs consist of? Because that's the biggest question they always have. What are my costs?
Yeah. So closing costs are a couple different things that encompass, property taxes, insurance, escrow, third-party fees, lender fees, all different things. Those could range anywhere from 2 to 3% of the purchase price. Sometimes lower, sometimes higher. Sometimes the lender can cover all your closing costs on VA or FHA purchases. There's different ways you can buy down rate. So the biggest thing to remember is there has to be a discussion. Before an offer is written, the buyer needs to understand there are closing costs, and their agent lender need to communicate and basically come up with a game plan for that. If that's asking for the seller to pay closing costs, asking for the lender to pay closing costs, or the buyer paying the costs. They just need to be aware of it, and be aware that there are closing costs and there are additional things besides just down payment that they may be responsible for.
Question has popped into my head when you're talking about VA and FHA. Yeah. Not everyone knows what those terms mean. Obviously, VA means veterans. FHA, Federal Housing Authority, I think is.
Yeah.
So, because I just had a question about this the other day. How many times can you get an FHA loan?
There's no limit. You can get it as many times as you want. Now, you can only have one outstanding at a time. There's other ways to have two, but for generally, you only want to have one FHA out at a time, but you can get FHA loans as many times as you want. You don't have to be a first-time buyer.
Yeah, because I think that's the concern most people think is that FHA is a first-time buyer. So, well, I've already owned a home, so I can't get that loan again.
Yeah.
And that's obviously not the case.
No, it's not. FHA you can use as many times as you want, and FHA may have a better interest rate. Disadvantage may be, mortgage insurance or whatever, but it's got a lot more flexibilities than a conventional loan in general.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So one of the questions I was thinking is because I just had this today. One of our clients wanted to use their particular bank, where they do their personal banking to get their mortgage.
Yeah. So
what's the difference between, using U.S. Bank or Bank of America as opposed to using a mortgage broker or banker? What's the difference in those?
So biggest thing, a mortgage broker is going to have a lot more options. So you may not fit into the U.S. Bank box or the Wells Fargo box or the B of A box. You may not fit in their program. They may not be, priced aggressively. As a mortgage broker, we have options, lots of different banks, lots of different scenarios. We can give you better pricing. I'm in a wholesale market versus a retail market, way different, so.
And what does that mean? I mean, just that wholesale versus retail, to the consumer, what does that mean?
Just as any other business. So, I get wholesale rates, just like another business would get a wholesale, whatever they're selling. I get a discount on rates, okay? There's a spread that I get paid, but we're a smaller company, that gives me leverage to leverage pricing for my clients.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So, okay, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So obviously I've known you a long, long time. What do you think it is that differentiates you from all the other lenders out there? Because you and I both know there's a ton.
Yeah,
I think there's more mortgage people out there than there are realtors.
Yeah.
Which is shocking.
Yeah,
because everyone's a realtor. So
absolutely. So I mean, the biggest thing is that I've always kind of stressed, and we have a mutual feeling on this, is the client's interest is always first. Okay, I'm always going to put the client first. And I don't work for a bank. I am a complete independent. So I have no sway on that. So I can truly make a, independent decision on what is best for the client and really work in their best interest.
Right.
I've done tons of loans over the last, 15, 18 years that I've been doing it. And I've seen all different scenarios, so I enjoy, getting into the finances with people. I have a background in finance. I have a degree in finance. I enjoy financial planning. So I can offer more than just, hey, here's your rate, here's your closing costs. We can really look at a situation and provide a value benefit or value add to that client that we can put them in a better product.
Right.
Whatever is best for their situation. They may only own the house a short time. We need to determine what's going to work best for that client.
Right. So your loyalty is to the customer. Your loyalty is not to chase.
Exactly.
Or to be
No.
because you're not trying to make sure you keep your job for the bank.
Yeah, no.
You're trying to make sure you keep the client happy.
I keep the client happy because that keeps all of us busy again. So.
And we had talked about it just a little bit ago. We've heard there's some rising loan limits. I think with VA, they're talking about getting rid of it altogether.
Yeah.
FHA conventionals raising the first of the year. I know it's kind of still out there.
So it's still kind of the new loan limits haven't come out. They'll be out in the next 7 to 10 days, somewhere the end of the year. But VA has come out and say they're removing VA loan limits, and there's been some guides on that. We expect to have that way more wide open after the first of the year. Meaning if you're using your VA home loan, and there's a county loan limit, you can exceed. So it gives a lot more flexibility to veterans completely. Wow. FHA, conventional, those look to have an increase for 2020 as well. So, just keep an eye on it, and there will be some...
So you'll be letting me know?
Yes, of course,
okay.
Of course.
So,
of course.
And the difference between county is different. Obviously, San Diego County is higher than Riverside County.
Yeah, all counties are going to have a different loan limit based on the, adjusted income for that area. So they are going to vary. Again, talk to your lender, talk to DESTRY. He's well educated.
So if any of our clients or friends out there have loan questions, just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
How do they reach you?
My cell phone number is 951-809-2842, or you can email me at robert@silvertrustfunding.com.
Great.
So, yeah.
All right.
Feel free
Perfect,
to reach
man.
out.
Thanks, Robert.
Hey, thanks.
Appreciate the help,
thanks
man.
to you.